We had a quick tip to come in that is very, very simple, just a few words. Trees on a windy day. Well, we have other quick tips about movement and motion. Now let's take this one in a little bit different approach. Well, one of the things I keep saying over and over and over again is as long as you call something what it is, it's going to be hard to see it. Sometimes you won't even see it. So if you're trying to see how to do trees on a windy day or the wind blowing trees, you're probably going to just guess at how to do it and you'll probably end up frustrated. But there's where people miss the whole boat. We see because of what is happening in front of our eyes, the visual language. And if it's movement, that means it's moving. If the trees are blowing, if the wind's blowing the trees, that means they're moving. And so what we do then is observe the movement and what it's doing. Now, one thing is if you try to find photographs of the wind blowing trees, still photographs, it's hard to find because it's hard to really capture in a single moment that movement that actually communicates the wind is blowing. So what I did this time was I went to the videos on Pixabay, and you can do this too because I think it would be a good exercise for you. And I searched, and when I searched the wind blowing trees, I got lots of those, but when I would pause to stop a frame, a moment in time, which we visual artists capture, it didn't really communicate visually that the wind was blowing. So I went and searched a little bit deeper and for hurricane. And I did get it then. When I would stop a frame, I could see. And if you look at this photograph, you can feel the wind is blowing. Why? Because these boughs are moving in this direction. They're not in the position we see them in when the wind is not blowing, especially the strong winds. So we look for the movement. So we see the movement is doing this. This is what the movement is doing. It's doing this, and then specifically the foliage on the outside is moving like this. So you do the movement. Now, so the first thing I'll do then is to set up just a little bit of a placement or a preliminary, I call it preliminary drawing, but this time gestural rather than just drawing stiff images, because this is gestural, it's movement. And so I'm just going to get just a little bit of paint on the tip of my brush here, just enough to make a mark with. And this is not a bad thing to do. It's what I call phantom drawing. It's when you allow your hand to actually move with the image, in front of the image. And if you're outside, you can hold your brush up like this, or a pencil, and close one eye, and you can move your brush with the movement of the image. And that's the movement that you will make when you're drawing it or painting it. So it's really something that's very simple, and we make it too complex because we're not looking for the right thing. So just very quickly here, what I'll do is I'll do just a little, see, just one little stroke there. And then I'll do another little stroke there that captures that. And then I'll do another little stroke here. And then I'll come back on the bottom side of it and do another little stroke here and here. And I get that same movement then I see right here. Now I'm not going to try to do the whole thing. You know, on these quick tips, I don't do a complete painting. I'm just showing you what you can do technically and how you can think in order to pull off something like that. All right, so I'm just going to take the one here, and let's just give that one a good workout. What do we see? Well, we do see sky. Sky has a little bit of blue in it, with a hurricane coming. You're probably not going to see a lot of blue in the sky. And so what I'll do there is I will just go into the blue on my palette. I've set my palette up in value lines. You can look up value line in our on our channel page, and you can see how I use the value line. And I'm doing this here in this lighter value, and I'm going to make it just a little bit grayer. So I'll add a little violet to that blue right here, like that. And this is a little bit of a color lesson. And then violet and yellow are complements. And so that means if I add yellow-green, then I can get that just a little bit grayer, a little more neutral is what we're seeing. And you see, well, it's probably a little bit dark, and it is a little bit dark. So then all I have to do there is to add some white to it and get it a little lighter. Let's just put that down there. And let's do that. So I'll just add just a little bit of white right up here. And let's get that lighter. Let's check it out. That's probably going to work just fine. So I'm just going to scrub in. Well, I think maybe that might just communicate the kind of sky we would see if there's a hurricane in progress. We're not going to see a really light sky. So I'm just going to fudge it a little bit there against the photo. That's the one thing we copying a photo verbatim is just copying. But if we can just use a photo as a reference for information, visual information, and then interpret it, that's a better idea. And of course, we'll see some variation in value in there. We don't realize that when looking at a gray sky, we see variation in value, but we will. So I'm just going to kind of work around what I see there. Oh, I'm going down. I'm going to get right in here. Got kind of, there we go, right in there. And then I'll just come around, pull that out here. You see, all I'm doing there is just simply scrubbing in the paint in a thin layer so that I can have an environment to show you this movement of those leaves in wind. Or I don't think they're supposed to call leaves. Now, you got to remember, I'm not living down near the beach or in the areas where there are palm trees, etc. I live in the mountains of North Georgia, and so we don't have those up here. So I'm kind of out of my league as far as the subject matter is concerned, but I do have eyes that I can see. All right, so there we go. Now I would say I blocked in just enough there, and have the skies, what we could call sky, interpreted for you. I'm going to wash the brush out really, really good. Rinse, I should say, the brush. This is oil, for those of you who are going to ask that question. You could do the same thing with acrylic. Watercolor would handle just a little bit differently, but the observation is the same with watercolor. Observation of visual elements always the same, and no matter watercolor, gouache, pastels, oils, it doesn't matter what. The observation is the same. The elements, the visual elements are the same. The technique is what's different. Okay, now what do we have in here? Well, you can see that is a dark green. It leans a little bit towards yellow green in the darkest part, and a little bit more towards the bluer green. This is where the photo is showing it in the lighter part. But it has two distinct values there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the dark part of I describe it to myself first. This is a dark yellow green with a feeling of blue in it. So it could be blue-green, combination blue-green, yellow-green, but it's dark, very, very dark. And so I'll go into my very, very dark yellow-green here in my value line. Not the darkest dark, but just the a very dark, dark. Now I'll pull some blue into that. This is the sap green, my yellow green. This is ultramarine blue, my blue of choice, because it will do all the things I want it to do when mixed with other colors. All right, so I probably don't need to desaturate that. Now let's see. Now I'm going to use the motion I see right here. You see all that dark in there? I'm going to use that motion. So I'll just move the brush in that motion, like that, and like this, and let it move into the, see when I stroke it into the sky, you see how it blurs, the same sort of blur we're seeing right in there. And so that way, with that kind of attitude, we can make our painting do what the image is doing. All we have to do is to imitate what the image is doing. Do what the image is doing. First of all, describe to yourself what the image is doing, and actually allow yourself to experience what the image is doing, and then do that. And it's probably going to be, yeah. Since the wind is obviously blowing this way, then that's the way those movement strokes need to go. All right, now let's see. We got some more in here. Let me scrub that in, and just let that kind of dip down. See, it's already beginning to look a little windy. And let's get a little bit more on the brush. I don't have very much paint on the brush. I never do in these initial layers. I never have much paint in the brush. So I'm still just letting the brush imitate. It doesn't have a lot of paint in it. The brush imitate what my eyes are seeing. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these areas in. You'll see why in just a moment, because I want that's how it's moving. I want a value and a color underneath that so that I can pull that lighter color on top to really show that movement of the wind. Okay. I don't want to overdo that. I have to be careful that you don't overdo or it starts getting stiff, and we never want our paintings to be stiff. This is called directional movement, if you want the term. So you're moving your brush in the direction that the image is going. It was, as far as we know, I'll give you a little art history here while I'm doing this. As far as we know, Rembrandt was let's say it this way, when we know that Rembrandt was among the first of our artists in history to discover that we can move the brush in the direction the image is going to create directional movement. And of course, there were I won't try to go into the whole history of the thing. You can look it up. But now I'm going into a lighter blue-green. I'm still got green on the brush here, so I'm going into a lighter version of that. Now I need to keep that not too light, because you see just a little bit lighter. It's still in shadow. All this is in shadow. The light is behind there. The light of the sky is behind there. And so all this stuff in here is in shadow because of that. All right, so what I'll do there is, this is shadow side of my palette from the middle value to the dark. This is where all the work that's in shadow happens right over here. All of those mixings happen right in here. Don't want to get over there. A lot of people make a light like that way too light, and it won't look right. All right, so I'm going to get just a little bit lighter right here and a little bit bluer. And then we're going to let the brush just what we call scumble. That means, just pull this just a little bit more on the brush. Scumble means that you're laying one layer of paint on top of another. All right, you see that? Let's get that just a little bit. That needs to be a little bit desaturated. I'm seeing it now, so let me go into these two. Red, violet, and yellow-green. You see, they will make a neutral. So I'll get those to get my neutral. Let's get that just to put it just for a little bit right here. All right, there we go. Now, here we go. All right, so if I just scumble just a little bit of that, we might just need a little bit. Well, okay, first of all, we'll do this first. All right, now we see a little bit of that sky. Whoops, that little bit of red on the brush there. Don't really see that, so we'll get rid of it. There we go. But keeping that brush with all the strokes is keeping it moving with the wind. Now we see a little bit of the sky reflecting back. See, that's a lot of what we're seeing there, or reflecting, because it's probably wet. Trees are probably wet. Don't know for sure. My guess is that they're probably wet. So we see a little bit of that reflective light, and that's what I'm going to do. Just a tiny bit of that now. So we need a neutral. And so I'm going to go here on the very low, this is a low light, and I'm going to put the yellow-green here into the red-violet and get a neutral. And if I had an orange on the palette, I could mix it in the blue and I'd get that same kind of neutral. And a little bit more of that yellow-green. in here to get that neutral. I probably may have put too much that time. You can just watch that change and get neutral. It's just a fun thing to do to mix complements. And just put a little bit of that blue in there. We were getting right up in there where I need to be. A little bit more of that yellow green, please. There we go. Let's see. Okay, look, it needs to be bluer now. That I want to get the neutral first. Now I'm going to get here with the blue. Add the blue or the neutral into the blue right here. Just like this. And then let's check it out. All right, let's see if that don't do it. Let's see if that doesn't do it. Let's give, all right, see, let's get very, very close. And check here to be sure of the value against that. And there we go. So let's see. So that's the little pile I want right there. I'm going to pull the paint out of the brush. And I'm going to go into this little mixture I just made here and just do a little bit of scumbling to show that reflective light. And you see how I'm moving the brush, just allowing it to glide on top of the paint that's already there. And let's see it. I see it moving in several directions there. Don't want to get it too busy. A little bit more light right here. I almost got that too light. But you see every stroke moves with the image. Every stroke moves with the image. And you would just keep going like that. That's probably enough to show you. So you can see if you allow your brush to move the way the image is moving, not just in wind, but whatever image you're looking at, every image has visual movement. And the movement is how the direction in which the thing is shaped that's movement. And so you follow that movement, you feel it, and you hold your brush in the way you'll need to, and let the brush follow that movement. You will be surprised. It's going to give you what you want, and it's going to be a whole lot more fun than picking at it. Be sure and view all of our quick tips. And while you're doing so, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell, so you'll always get a notice when we produce a new quick tip, which is every week. And if you have a question, leave it in the comments section and we'll make a quick tip for you. Also, take a trip over to DianneMize.com where I have full-length lessons, downloads, DVDs, lots of other stuff there, some free stuff for you. And while you're there, you can subscribe to the newsletter, and that way you'll always be informed every time we do something new.